Yo, how's it going? Ape Man Banana.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
Okay, perfect, perfect. All good. A bit late here, but it's fine.
Yeah, sorry it's late. I wonder if people might not show up because of Thanksgiving. I'm gonna share the link around. I just put it up top. Sweet.
Okay. Is it
All the
today?
speakers are here. No, it's tomorrow. Yo, how's it going, Spencer?
I realize I can only stay for a little while, but I'll stay as long as I can. But I'll have to hop at some point earlier. But you'll hear from me again.
That's no problem. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a little short of a space today anyway because Thanksgiving's tomorrow and whatnot. Let me see. We got all the speakers already, so I'll give it like a couple minutes here for just people to share the room up top. Hey, Captain Shanks. Honeybee, do you feel like doing us a cello performance while you wait for 3 minutes? He's probably chilling. All right. Twitter Spaces up top if you guys feel like liking or retweeting or sharing. I'll probably get started in a couple minutes here.
I totally would if I were not in the streets right now.
That sounds good. How are you, honey?
No, I'm doing good, man. Just had some ramen. Caught in my Uber right now. Got an hour drive ahead to go to a what is it, gender reveal for one of my best friends.
Nice. Congrats. Yeah, I'm expecting also. Yo, how's it going? All right, well, let's go ahead and get started with it. So today, our guest speakers, we're probably going to be a little short, and it doesn't look like a lot of people are showing up because of, I'm guessing, because of the holiday. But we've got Spencer, BlockchainZilla, Ape Man Banana, Ape Man on Ape to talk about their project, JK NFT, also as an artist. But Wild Mage was an additional artist who was going to be here today but can't make it because of he had a family emergency. He said one of his Thanksgiving uncles got rowdy, he's in the hospital or something like that. So he's unable to make it. But how are you guys doing?
All good, all good.
Ape Man.
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Spencer, let's have you talk first. I had pulled up the post that you made like a while ago. Hopefully people can see this recording at least. But let me see. I'll share it up top. Talking basically about you changing from your full-time position at Horizon Labs to focus on ApeChain.
Yep. That was me.
Tell us more about it. What were you doing at Horizon Labs, and what are you doing at ApeChain now?
Yeah, so when I was at Horizon, ApeChain was like one of the things that I was doing, right? So it's like I had responsibilities to a lot of their other products too. For the most part, the rest of the stuff that they do, which is cool, but it's like zero knowledge tech, like kind of infrastructure tech, things around that side, privacy related things. ApeCoin is something that they kind of got involved with by serendipity because they were doing token advisory at the time when ApeCoin started. They don't do that any longer. It's like a much different company than it was at that point, in a lot of ways for the better. And so, basically it kind of got to a point where it was like, I really love all of the ApeChain stuff. Like that's where my heart is. That's where my passion is. And I, as cool as the other stuff is, I just don't care about it as much, to be honest. Not to say that it's not great and interesting to that matter, but just comparatively. And so a lot of it was really for one, my own sanity, and two, because I wanted to focus on one thing, and this is really what I want to focus on. And also, I think it's like when you're sitting, on the side of a corporate stakeholder, you can't do everything that you want to do, and you can't say everything that you want to say, and you have to kind of keep their interests in mind. And if you don't agree, if you don't agree with things, not that there was anything like nefarious, but it's like if you don't agree with things or stuff like that, you kind of have to toe the line to a degree, right? And I want to be on X, Twitter, whatever, shit posting. I want to say, what I want to say about things, right? And also now that I'm at the foundation, there's just a lot more that I can do in terms of talking about Ape as a token, in terms of working with, like different exchanges, working with people. It just gives me a lot more freedom and flexibility. And so, like the timing was right to just kind of jump full on and, just kind of like work on behalf of the community and not have any conflicts there, and just, be able to move forward and shitpost more.
That's funny. So what does that mean? Like, are you hired by like ApeChain as a foundation, or like are you just diving in like headfirst into Web3 full time kind of thing? Or
so I've been in Web3 full time for a while now. I'm working on behalf of the foundation now. So I think that like if you've been paying attention for a while, I've been working on ApeChain from the start in sort of my previous role, and then there's the Banana Bill, stuff like that. But really what it means in this role is that like you can think of me as a resource for, whatever you need to get your project on ApeChain. Awesome. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about where it's like there's a lot of things that can go through the Banana Bill, but it's not that everything can go through the Banana Bill. It's like actually a very specific program with a really specific mandate. And so from this position, a lot of it is also being like, hey, maybe that's not going to work for you, but let me help you apply for Thank Ape and the Swamp Roots program. Let me help you, direct you to all the different grants that Arbitrum has, because ApeChain is part of the Arbitrum ecosystem. And if it is through the Banana Bill or the foundation or whatever, let's figure out what that looks like. So yeah, basically, the job is to get as much onto ApeChain, as many people working and partnering with ApeCoin as possible, and that's what I'm trying to do.
So as a community resource, I guess, as you described yourself as, like what can you help people do, and what type of projects are you like looking to support?
Yeah, so really we want projects that align with the ecosystem, right, and with the ethos of it, and kind of with the vibe of it. That's kind of always going to be the priority from that perspective. In some ways, ApeChain is like, it has a lot going on, but it's an opinionated blockchain is the term for it, right? Not just like random general purpose. And so, if you have something and you're building something that kind of fits into one of those pillars, whether around, creator tools, art tools, whether around games, whether around kind of the more degen side of DeFi, things like that, can help with all of that. Honestly, though, no matter what you're trying to do on ApeChain, even if you're trying to go and get something through the ApeCoin DAO with an AIP, I can intro you there. But really, it's like we're open for a lot of different stuff. It's just a matter of kind of guiding people to where the resources are for that. And I should also mention like the foundation for the ApeCoin Foundation, which like long term, it's kind of been a weaker foundation with not a lot going on, and it's kind of like, the DAO has always been strong and there's always been a lot going on there, but there's been a big push to kind of beef up the foundation and add a bunch of resources now that we have ApeChain. So it's not just me. There's Robbie, who's DevRel and who can help on that side. There's Clive, who can help with a lot of different things. Jordan, who, once you're onboarded to ApeChain, can help with kind of the ongoing stuff around it as well. There's a whole slew of people who are basically kind of like filling in that we never really had before, but now we have reason for. And so, that's a big part of it too. I mean, Tina, obviously, too, who's just announced today on the marketing side, and Lost as well, have both been working on stuff for a long time in terms of promotion and co-marketing and things like that. So, there's a lot of different resources. My DMs, are always open. I don't always respond to them on Twitter right away, but you can get me on Telegram too. But I will respond to you. Just happy to help people build stuff.
Yeah, it seems like there's like a hard pivot towards, I guess, ApeChain for the ApeCoin community and the DAO. Do you know anything about why everybody's making that move? Is it because ApeCoin is successful, or why are they?
I think
focusing on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get super into the politics of it. I know there are a lot of people who have been talking about it, and it's a big thing, obviously. But I think that at its core, the ApeCoin DAO didn't have a chain before, right? And now it's got this ward, it's got something that it really needs to take care of, and it's serious, right? You can't just kind of let it go on its own. Really bad stuff will happen. And I think that's necessitated a bunch of things that need to kind of shift over time. Regardless if they shift in the way that people are proposing now or in other ways or whatever. But I think that's really what it is that there's a big need for a lot of that just wasn't there before. I also think if you go back and you look at the history of the DAO, it was a really cutting edge kind of DAO and the way that it was set up when it was set up. Now it's kind of like a little bit of a beat up truck, sitting in the driveway where it's got a little bit of wear and tear on it, and there are just different ways of doing things. And so part of it is also how do we figure out how to move voting on chain? How do we figure out how to move staking on chain? There's no reason that you should be holding your ApeCoin on Ethereum ultimately, and or wherever. So a lot of it has to do with that and just setting up the structures to make all of that happen. But I think the DAO is great though.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that is kind of the goal, is to transition all the activity, the governance activity, onto ApeChain as well.
Yep. Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, that's the goal, is to put everything on there.
All right, I wanted to pivot a little bit to some more fun stuff. Why don't you talk to us about Mutant Zillas?
Yeah. It's fine art on ApeChain. So the story there is, when I was with Horizon, there's this headshot of me that I've always hated, but basically was used whenever I was doing non-monkey stuff. It's just a kind of whatever professional headshot from a couple years ago. And whenever I would use it, people, would basically make fun of me, in the Ape community for it. And so when ApeChain launched, I went and I did an AI generated collection. You find on Magic Eden and Blockchain Zillas, of I think it's 30 something, kind of AI generated, kind of middle-aged looking BD guys. And I should have done more because it minted out in 5 minutes, which I wasn't expecting, because I did as a joke, right?
Them? I wasn't sure if you launched them. I wasn't sure if you launched them or not. You said
I launched the
5 minutes.
Yeah, I launched the original ones, and then with the mutant ones, that was on a space with MBAs and Board In, which is a good space that everybody should listen to. and the mint pad guys were on there, and they were basically like, hey, we want to show you guys how easy it is to mint something and mint a collection on mint pad. And I didn't know that this was going to happen going in, but they minted those. Kind of just put them out there. So that's the follow-up to those.
Follow-up question that I usually ask people in the beginning, but do you have like a history as an artist? I know we brought you up mostly to talk about ApeChain, but do you have any like artistic history or any plans?
So my history is I do have some art history actually, but not really in like not in like graphic arts or stuff like that. I was a theater major when I was in school. I worked in theater for years before I worked in tech. And I was a stage manager, director. I wrote stuff, things like that. So that's always been part of kind of what I am and what I do and things like that. But yeah, that's kind of the background there.
What's your favorite theatrical production that you've worked on?
Oh man, that I've worked on. I did a bunch of like Sam Shepard stuff at one point that was great and that I really liked, and I really like him and everything that he does, like True West and things like that. I think that's probably my favorite stuff that I ever worked on. Yeah, I would say that kind of stuff is probably my favorite stuff that I ever worked on. The thing that like I wish this is not what you asked at all, but like what I'm sure would have been my favorite thing I worked on is I had a chance to go and work for the Big Apple Circus at one point, and that was like a line that when I was like 22 or something like that, and I remember basically my parents were just like, you can do whatever you want, but you're not like going off and joining the circus. But that is a regret. I should have just done it. It would have been fine. It would have been great. But in another
What
life,
would your role have been in the circus?
I think it was like to do stage management, also work in like the operations office and stuff like that.
That's not even really running off with the circus.
No, I know, right?
They should have let you do that. Come on, I thought you meant like a juggling or something.
No. No. And then I should also, sorry, I know now I'm like just going off on a fucking tangent, but I also did a bunch of stuff with, not a bunch of stuff, but I did a little bit of stuff with the Coney Island sideshow out in Coney Island, which was also great.
Awesome. So I guess you launched your own collection, but I don't know if you consider that your art or not. Do you plan on doing any, making any like more art or tokens on ApeChain, or what do you plan on building, I guess?
No, I probably will at some point. I think I think it's one of these things where like if I do something, it's going to be a free mint. I'll do things to try stuff. I try to like try everything on ApeChain. And so like that's a lot of the reasons that like if I launch something, it's because I'm experimenting with it. So that I understand what people are talking about it, what they're talking about, and how to help them, stuff like that. So like, yeah, there's probably more coming at some point, I'm sure. But like my primary thing is like I want to support other people who are building here. It's not, so that's kind of the goal.
I hope Mutant Zillas will get consideration for whitelist for your future projects. I'll be watching diligently for them. But what was I going to say here? Is there anything else you'd like to let people know, I guess, about yourself or about ApeChain before we talk to another artist? Or does anyone have any questions either? If you have a question, shoot up a thumbs up or something. But otherwise, Spencer, if you have anything you'd like to add.
No, I mean, I think just like make sure as you're building stuff that you take advantage of all the resources that are available to you. Reach out to me. Everybody who's building in this community is super, super friendly. Everybody wants to collaborate. It's not PvP. So take advantage of that, and make sure that you understand like what the banana bill can do. Go and read up on that. Make sure that you understand what ThankApe is doing with swamp roots. Go read up on that. Make sure that you understand all the opportunities in the Arbitrum ecosystem. They're doing a lot of stuff with AI. If you're doing stuff that takes advantage of stylus, which is worth reading about, that's cool too. Just like make sure you understand that there's a whole ton of resources behind this. You don't have to do stuff on your own.
What's the best place for people to look into those resources, or just asking you?
You can ask me if you want to. I would say for Banana Bill stuff, it's on the ApeChain.com website. For ThankApe stuff, it's on their website, ThankApe, or you can go and follow their account or follow Dilly on Twitter. And he's a good guy to reach out to. You should also, if you follow the Arbitrum account, you'll see a lot of the stuff that they're putting out there too.
I just posted a post from ThankApe, in case people want to follow them up top. But thanks, Spencer, for coming up and speaking with us. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, man.
You're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right, have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
All right, I was going to talk to Ape Man Banana next. How are you doing?
I'm good. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting us, talking about the project, and it was really interesting also to listen to Spencer. I think this chain is a bit different about the other chains. Like there's a lot of builders, and I'm an artist, and I have done some stuff on other chain, but here you can feel that actually people know what they're doing, and they really want to collaborate, and they want to put you in a good path. So this is pretty comfortable for like a digging like me, and no, I think you laugh, but
No, I'm just kidding.
when you try to do like projects on other blockchains, well, you can be a bit of lost. And here the environment is really specific, really close. It's like a bubble in a bubble. We are super early, and I think we are also really lucky to be there. But not only luck, but also I think we're here because we want it, and we're here also because we want to maybe write history. So I was like, okay, I need to do a project on ApeChain. I had actually ApeCoin stacking. That's how I that was my way to connect with the environment. And also I have a friend that has a board ape. So he told me, man, you have to do one project over there. You will see it's crazy. And I was looking at it, and I was thinking, okay, I need to do something. But most of the project for me, on a artistic way to see it, I was like, okay, there is a lot of copy of what already exists on other chain, um I don't know, they maybe not every big project is on Ape now, but almost. And I was like, I want to create something else, something different. And also I have a lot of different styles, so I can play with it, and it's fun to do it. So I wanted to try something a bit retarded, but also okay, we need a superhero to save all this. And I think every chain needs a superhero, and that's how Ape Man started to be born. And I think it was in the beginning a bit of a struggle to mint. I had 13 people.
Were you really early? You said Was your mint very early?
I started 2 weeks ago, something like this. So I wasn't that early, but my friend told me, he told me like you have to do the. He told me the first day or the second day, like he said like, oh man, every collection goes crazy, like everything that's going on ApeChain from one ape coin go to 50 or even more. And he said like there is a lot of people and interest in it. And I was like, okay, well, let's see. And I had other stuff to do also, like I'm trying to do every day a drop on drip. So I have a lot of work to do about art. But yeah, man, I'm now I'm stick with Ape Man, and I learned a lot,
I think
like
the art's.
being not only an artist now, but sorry.
I was just gonna say I love the art. I think it's pretty funny, and also I like the sketches. And I was just gonna ask, like, about your, uh, I guess, your art history. Like, you you describe yourself as an artist. Like, what type did you originally start doing, and how did you progress into like NFTs?
So yeah, like I haven't like such a background as an artist, as I study marketing, but I always loved to draw, so that was my thing. But the thing is that when I arrived at uh, 50 years old, I wanted to do other stuff, and then when I came back to 20 in the 20s, I was like, okay, I have to draw again because I have some. I can do stuff. I have some skills, but yeah, I had like a bit of the fear of like the white paper, like you have this paper and you don't know what to put on it, and every little draw you do, you're unsatisfied about it. So I was like, that was a big barrier for me. And one day I bought me an iPad, and the iPad actually, like with Procreate, was completely for me like a release, because you could go back, you could zoom, you could, well, there was a lot of different features, and I started to draw and draw and draw. I did like a collection that hasn't been mint, but in 2021, about like I did more than 100 different black sheeps drinking yerba mate. But then like I started to focus more on different stuff, and I think like if you go on my wallet, like you can see a bunch of stuff on Ethereum, but then like I have also like wallets that is on Solana, where I did also more than hundreds
On
one,
Solana,
and
you did
I
more than
call it
100
like,
one ones.
yeah, like, yeah, I call it like exploration creativity, because it was also like a way where I could myself a bit of exploring different styles, and without putting any barrier, because like in this space, like people really like when artists has their own style, and where they actually already have this identity, I guess. But I think like you can see my style, but I can adapt myself to different style. I don't know if you can
Yeah, that
understand
makes
this,
sense.
but so yeah, I really like to touch a bit of everything. Like I've done also like I think my first collection was also like a photography series of photos I did when I was traveling. So basically, I've done a bit of everything, and like recently, like last couple of months, digital. So there are like canvases that I've painted and make a picture and then sell it and send it to the seller via NFT. So for me, this was like actually very very interesting to bridge those both worlds. Send it to
That's
Germany.
awesome.
So like I think like I could never do it if I wasn't in NFT space or in Web3. Like of course I could do it with like a website or something, but it's completely different. And nowadays I don't even use Instagram. I'm stick with X. So yeah, like
I sound.
I really
Oh,
sorry.
sorry. I was just gonna say. It sounds like you're like a pretty established artist on like several chains, or like you've had a lot of work go out.
Yeah. I tried to stick around, and when it was bear market, well, you have time to discover and to build, and I think I'm good in that. I'm good as an artist, and I'm really bad as a trader. I lost almost everything after it, so that's why it gives me like also a bit of like the way of understanding the stuff, and I want always to give to the community, because I think it's important to give it back, and like making it a free mint was for me like actually really really interesting. And even if if like royalties on ApeChain doesn't work that well, I still have a lot of fun, and I'm producing a lot, and I think like the reward will come back later on. Like it's more about connection here than about money. Of course, money is something that makes it on the go, but I think like here the fun is has something more important of it. After that, like I was talking with a friend about like the royalties, and I was thinking a bit about like how PumpFun was working with Memcon. It was like actually like we had to put a certain amount of volume with the royalties, so the artist got paid, and then when it has reached this amount, the people can actually choose or not to put the royalties. I think this, but this is just an opinion.
I wasn't sure if you could code in the royalties for ApeChain or not. I don't think I've tried it. So, you're saying you're unable
Uh,
to?
well, I have done the contract via free, and the thing is that like the platforms like Magic Eden and all these, they can actually like remove the
Right.
royalty unless it is a ERC 721C, I guess, something like this. Like if you use like those platforms that helps you to create collections, the royalties doesn't come back. But I think like with the time, this will be, or it's a topic, of course, but I think like yeah, like it's like a tip, like you can choose or not.
Right.
So if you use MinPad, if you use like the self-service platforms like MinPad or NFT, to me, or one of those, like you can set the royalties that you want, but like right then once you get to like a Magic Eden or things like that, it's on the user to decide whether they're gonna pay it or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, only when they accept offers, I think like those royalties goes as a web something. yeah, like the seller can always choose.
Uh,
But this is something I think like for me it was a bit of a surprise, but yeah, I can stick with that. But for people that want to create a collection and do it a free mint and then like thinking, okay, I delivered this, but I will get my money back with the royalties. Well,
yeah, definitely. Marketplaces have had that workaround. That's been trouble for a couple of years. So sorry you're having trouble with that. But can you tell us about both? I guess give us a recap again of Ape Man Banana, but then also tell us about your Ape Man Pass.
exactly. So Mem Banana started as a one ape coin mint. I did like maybe 40 mints for 10 days, and I was still with Twitter sending posting. Unless I had maybe like 5, 10 followers or something, but the OGs can see can tell that I, I was not demotivated, and I keep posting, and that's how I could have more eyes. And then one day I was like thinking, okay, if I really want to release everything, it will be like buy a free mint. And so I did a free mint, and in half an hour, something like this, the whole collection was minted, and we started to create a lot of volume. Like really, I was like, wow, we almost enter in the top 10 of the day in Magic Eden, and we did like I think like 4,000 ape as volume.
Congrats.
So yeah, it was really impressive. And from then, like yeah, like we still we still are doing good numbers, even though I'm not looking a lot about like floor, because it's not what I'm really interested in it. Like people can actually put their how they can do what they want with their assets. But what really important to me is to create like a community where people stack with each other, help each others, build together, and have fun at the end. Because like I think like well, we all spent a lot of hours on this application, and of course we want to make a bit of money and to flip some NFTs, but at the end, like I think the most important is to create connections and to build some great communities where we can go up. And I think like we are a really small project where we don't have any goals or any paid people, so it's just organic, and this take times, but also like this, if with insistence and motivation, and if we show up every day, I think like we can reach big numbers. So this is like Ape Man Banana, and I think like we're gonna have like this position as a superhero. It's also really fun to as a narrative, you know, like to explain a bit like that everyone can be a hero. And I think like for me it boosts myself also, like you know, if I can change even the humor or the motivation of people just for with one post for their day. If they had like a bad day, they see this little guy eat like with a funny look. Well, maybe he will have a good day after. So I think like the message is clear, and like we are all heroes, and we just have to show up. And then like we always play with the fun, so that's why like Believer Pass. I don't know how you call it,
I think it's
but
Blabber.
took like a lot of attention, and I was like, okay, I have to do something about it, and actually, like I I created like a fake one, but it was like a bit of a troll. I put it like also at 0.69 ape to match the mint price, but like really on my scale, and I airdropped one to every holder. So I give actually like this pass to all holders, because I you always have to create value to your community, and I really want to reward everyone that holds Apeman Banana. And the thing is difficult is to put like, when I create a new collection, I create new supply, and I don't want to put the OG collection in the shadow. So I was thinking about how can I do this stuff, and actually like with this troll, and with the success of the mint of Epan Pass, we did like 683. I figure out how I can manage to use both collection, and actually like the pass with Apeman Banana will give you access to all the giveaways we're doing, because like we do a lot of giveaways or whitelist, and we will do a lot of collabs further on with other projects, with small projects. I think like because we will be the hero of ApeChain, we're gonna help also those small projects to grow with visibility and this kind of stuff, and also then like later on, like I'm working all the time to try to create new art, because this is like, for me, this is my best skill that I have, is to create. And so the pass will be something that you will keep, and you will have also like rewards. So for example, I release a new free,
Yeah.
so I think like the pass was started as a troll, but it's not that troll anymore, and it's more like a utility for the community, and there are only 683.
With the Can I jump in
So
for a second? With what you were talking about before, like kind of how you were worried about limiting creating more art on chain because you don't want to like dilute your holders with supply kind of thing. Like I guess where do you stand on that? Because that's like you know, a huge issue for a lot of creators. I personally think that people should just make art and not worry about it, and especially if you're like if you're not making an off brand of your own collection, and you're just, or even if you are, I guess if you're just making art, like who cares if it messes with the supply of, you
yeah,
know.
well, I think like there are two schools. There are people really minimalists. They really want to come with a project with, like maybe 10 images, or well, they have like one ID, and they want to shape it on as a like with perfection. And then there is the other school where you just want to create, and then and deliver what you create. And okay, maybe even what you show to the people, you don't like it, but maybe it will like, maybe someone else will like it. So yeah, I think like those both schools exist. I'm more like of the second one. Like I really like to create a lot, and sometimes I even deliver stuff that I not really appreciate it, but I know someone will do. So I'm not afraid about showing the stuff. But on the economic level and on the supply level, I know people are not a lot of a fan of deleting supply. Although now I have only 2,000 Apeman plus 600 passes. I'm I'm super okay with the supply, and but I'm a small project. Like I'm an artist alone. Uh, like I'm not a big team. So if I started to create a lot of supply, maybe I will need to have a bigger team, and those factors go together. But right now, I think like I can manage to do other projects or small collection or raffles or one-ones or this kind of stuff. I actually like working on a collection, but I will have to decide also like the supply, and maybe I'm gonna talk with the community about it, because I really like also to have the feedback of, to just to know if I'm on a good direction, and if the people like it or not, and then like at the end it's my decision. But yeah, and I also know there will be always people feeding your decisions, so this doesn't affect me. So
I don't know. Maybe not add more to the same collection unless that's your intention is to onboard new members. But you could always just create more art that's like either one of ones. I'm sure your holder, or I'm not sure, but maybe your holders would appreciate that. It sounds like you're kind of community oriented with your collection. Sorry. Um,
yeah. Like today I created a contract about it's called Book of Ape Men. Uh, hasn't been released on Twitter, but it will be like just like all the ones I created for like the fan art of Ape Men that I'm using to promote or to make fun on Twitter. Also, some honoraries will be there, and some of them will be like with a mint price. Some of them will be airdropped. Some of them will be raffled. This is still to see, but yeah, like I think like this is a nice way also to have like a book of that resume a bit like what I've what I'm doing as art, because like if every post I'm doing are original art, take a bit of my time, but I have a lot of fun. Like for example, today I was talking with a project. It's called Tears of Normies. He asked me to make like a artwork for the collab, and it actually ended super good. And he said to me like on DMs like, "Wow, I never seen someone giving that much for just a post."
I think I posted it up top. So you drew this like illustration with the Ape Man and Tears of Normie with the Batman looking guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
So yeah, like this kind of stuff, I think like it added value to the project, even though it's not like well, I used Batman, of course, but we can recognize Ape Man behind it, and I will do like those 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 images, or I will try to do it every day, like to add some more, and to go more like also about uh, the notices of what's happening on a on a daily basis. Like for example, when Quant did his meme coin, it was so funny. I had to do it. Like
Sorry, go ahead.
I think it just gives more life to the project.
I guess tell us about your illustration style. Like how do you create this stuff? All through Procreate, you said.
Yep, yeah, Procreate, and then I use different brushes.
What's your process like?
The one,
Just what's your
sorry.
process like in Procreate?
So like first of all, sometimes I'm like first like googling a bit like images. When I have an idea, I Google it, and then I put like on my screen, and I don't like to just put it, like take an image, put it on Procreate, and then like overlap the layer. But I just put it on my other screen, and I try to draw what I'm seeing, and this gives like a bit of imperfection effect. And then when I'm happy about the shape, I started to put the colors. um I really like at the end like one of my latest style that I like was to overgo, like to fill, but really on a fast way. Sometimes there are blanks, sometimes you
It reminds me of like real
well,
illustration, you know? Like
yeah, and also like it give a bit of a child aspect, but with all controlled, So so I think like people that are artists can realize it's a good job. People that are not, sometimes they can just say like, "Whoa, what the fuck is this?" Or they can say like, "Yeah, I can do it too." But I think like if 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 you are an artist, you can understand. Okay, he put like some good shadow on the places. He used 2 3 different colors. The colors are matching together, this kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm not here to tell how to draw. Or I think everyone is an artist inside of
I mean, I could
himself.
use some
So
drawing tips. That stuff's better than stuff I could draw for sure. I love it. Um,
yeah. But you will maybe love also like the next collection. It's something completely different. Really more about um like the shapes are more perfect. They're more fulfilled. They in French we say léché, like licked. I don't know if we say that in in English, but yeah, like more pure, maybe more like the way as the designer. What's like the little frogs there.
oh, gotcha. Yeah,
They're funny.
designer. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Ape Man? Uh, Thumbs up or something, or give a request if you do. And otherwise, Ape Man, give us like a wrap up. And I guess where people should be looking for your future work.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're gonna like it in a few days. I'm gonna put also some of what I'm cooking right now. Um, so it might gonna leak in different groups because I already show it in my GC Apeman chat. So maybe some of you have seen it, maybe not. But in a few days, yeah, you're gonna see it. There is already a hint in the description of the Apeman Pass. Maybe you will know it. And yeah, now also like yeah, like I'm gonna be a bit off those days because I'll have to go back to Belgium to see my family. But yeah, it's like holiday in the US, so it's perfect matching. And then like from Monday, I will work. I will show up on a constant base also.
Well, thank you for sharing your artwork, and I appreciate you taking the time to come to the show.
Yeah, it's 3:20 now.
It's well, really, damn. Well, yeah, thank you. Get to bed, I guess.
I'm like outside to don't like I'm actually on the house of my brother, and he's living with other people, so I'm outside so they can sleep. But no, it's really important for me also to speak, and I think like I had a really good time to explain a bit better the project, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you wanna come and have fun with ApeMan, you are more than welcome. Uh, Prices are really affordable right now. Maybe in a week will be less.
What's the price like for ApeMan? I probably would have bought it already, but I don't have my computer with me right now. I'm from my phone.
Right now it's about 1.8.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna sweep the shit out of these later. I love the art, and I loved hearing about your story too.
Well, yeah, and I had like a little question about like last question. But last night is was everything okay? Or
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
like
with my girlfriend, she was just like, you know, I don't want to give TMI, but she was just throwing up and had morning sickness at night. So I would have I would have been an asshole
okay.
if I held a Twitter space instead of helped her out.
No, of course not. Yeah,
So I put off the Sunday one. But I appreciate you being flexible with the time also, and able to come up here.
yeah, no. Like I'm actually a recent father. That's how I understand.
Hey,
So
thank you.
my little one has 9 months now. So
Congrats.
yeah, it's a beautiful journey. If for when it will it
I
arrive?
think it may. That's it's my
May.
understanding.
Okay. Well, you still have a bit of
A
time.
little bit, yeah. Yeah, this is my first child, so I'm excited.
Yeah. Well. Do the good stuff. I was like after 2 weeks that like when he was born, it was in February, and I had a bag of Pepe, and Pepe started to pump. I was like, okay, I have to sell for my child, and then like it started to pump, but crazy. And I was like, no, why? But yeah, like you will see. Sometimes you're gonna make bad decision because of it. You will be tired and stuff like that. So enjoy the time right now. I think we are on a good schedule also to all have like beautiful days ahead, and yeah, enjoying also time with family and good Thanksgiving for people that's celebrating. And yeah, here in Europe we don't do it, but we enjoy of Black Friday.
Yeah, I'll enjoy Black Friday too. Thank you for thanks for coming up and sharing about your stuff, and thanks for wishing everybody well. Um, and doing this at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah, no worries. It's not a problem for that.
All right, have a good one. Um,
Thank you.
Next, I was going to bring up JK NFT about their coffee collection on ApeChain. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you doing?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us about the coffee collection. Just because right off the bat, this is definitely a different type of art.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unique. This is something I've kind of just been working on as a without any real plans for the project or the arts. I've been working on it for probably a couple years now, and it all got started. Full disclosure, I'm a Moonbird holder, and I used to hold the Proof Pass as well. And through the Proof Grails project, I discovered Grant Yoon, who's an artist that his style I really like, and a lot of folks have come along, a lot of artists have come along, and played on his style and built off his style, and I did the same thing. I'm not really an artist. I don't consider myself an artist by training or anything like that. It's just something I enjoy doing. So when I discovered his work, one of the first pieces of art I created was
I'm sorry, whose work again?
Grant Yoon. Are you familiar with this artist? He's a sort of
No.
he calls himself
Yeah,
a precision
Grant Yoon, yeah.
precision minimalist, or a minimalist artist. He's he sold pieces for easily
For bajillions
lots
on
of
ETH.
lots of money. This is back in 2021.
Yeah.
His pieces were
What was
selling
the
like
style
crazy.
like?
Super minimalist,
Yeah.
bro. He's famous for a cow.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
He's
I
got
can hear
this
you.
cow,
Yeah.
and then he's got these like landscapes and like views from like aerial views.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. You're not familiar with him, Grimy?
No, I'm not. I mean, I
I'll
joined
post up some of his stuff. Wait.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. He's. I mean, in my mind, he's right up there with X copying people is like OGs in the Web3 artist space, and I just really admire his work. My background is actually engineering, so I appreciate his very precise style of illustration. I've done a lot of 3D CAD work and drawings and things like that, so I kind of gravitate towards the more precise style of art.
Yo, Grimy, you see this? I pinned it up top.
Yeah, see, it looks fantastic.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
He's an awesome artist, and super nice guy, and really a cool guy. He's actually he's a, I don't know if he's a doctor yet, but he's in med school, and he's a break dancer and wins competitions, and just seems like an all around cool guy. But one of his most iconic pieces is I don't know who that was, just mentioned a piece called Cow, and it was a CC0 piece that he released this piece called Cow, and he released it as CC0. And so I did a derivative of that piece. And if you're not familiar with the piece, it's a green canvas with a small cow on it, as seen from like directly overhead. And so I did a derivative of that piece called Coffee with Grant, that was the same green background, except instead of a cow, it was a cup of coffee. And it was just for fun. I didn't have any plans for it. But then over time, I did a number of other derivatives, and I kind of just kept coming back to that coffee cup as a template or canvas for kind of exploring different ideas. So when new metas came along, or when I discovered a new artist that I liked, I would kind of try to think of how would I interpret this meta, or how would I interpret this artist's style as a cup of coffee. And so I just kept building up traits. I have this Illustrator file that's been going for a long time, and I just keep adding and adding to it. And, over time, I've probably drawn, it's probably up to about 200 different traits now, all around a simple cup of coffee. And the other artist that really inspired me was Jack Butcher, when he released his, the Opepin series, and the Czech series. And if you recall, early in the Czech series, every day he would update the artwork. And so whoever owned a Czechs file, every morning we'd open up OpenSea, and see what our checks look like that day. So every day he was changing it, and it kind of inspired me in that within very tight constraints of what checks was, which was a grid of checks. Every day he was coming up with new ideas and pushing the boundaries on what he could do with that piece of art. So that was really exciting to me. And so over time, I just built up this, huge Illustrator file of different traits, and
So was this originally a photograph of this collection, and like you edited it from there?
No, it was always illustrated. When I had the idea of creating the derivative of Grant Yoon's work, I took a picture of a cup of coffee from overhead, and I used that as an underlay to, trace over and kind of create the original piece there. But it was always an Illustrator file.
What types of different traits have you got within the collection? I mean, I love the coffee with Grant one. I'm wondering.
Yeah, if you were to with a few examples, so the traits are classified into different categories. So you've got your background and sort of a texture on the background. You've got the mug and decorations on the mug. You've got the handle and decorations on the handle, and then the coffee itself. Black coffee, medium coffee, light coffee, a latte, things like that. And then
I like this art. This is really unique.
Yeah, and then thank you. In addition to that, I started adding what I call these accent pieces. So if you're at the website, maybe that's a spoon, maybe it's a plate, a saucer, maybe it's a donut. And I have a bunch of surprises in the collection. So it was just kind of a way to explore different ideas and just have fun with it and see what sort of fun traits and I always like to come back to surprise and delight and making arts that I think will surprise and delight people when they see it. So I have a lot of different traits. Like I said, there's probably over 200 different traits, and some of them I eliminated from the final collection because they didn't quite work with other traits, but along the way I also added a bunch more. So it's just been a work in progress and just something I've been doing on the side, and I really didn't have a home for it for the project, for the artwork. I tried a couple different times to get it off the ground, and it didn't really gain any traction. And then when NFTs started making a bit of a comeback on ApeChain, I decided to give it another go, and I got a little bit of traction. We'll see how it goes. I'm not a well-known artist or anything like that, and this is a different collection that people may or may not gravitate towards, and that's okay. So I don't know how the drop's going to go, but
I think you're going to do great. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's different. A lot of this stuff.
It is. It's very different.
A lot of the stuff,
and it's like really mathematical looking, like the art.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I see dropping on ApeChain is, monkeys and things like that with hand drawn traits, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love getting into that stuff too. I think it's so much fun. This collection is just different. I consider it more of a art project than a PFP project, although it's very much mix and match your traits to come up with a different output. So it's been a lot of fun.
Sorry, I was looking at the piece, so I couldn't unmute myself quick enough. So you tell us about like your history, I guess, as a hobbyist artist. When did you have you done any other works before this? I know you said you've been working on this one for like a long time.
Yeah, I probably have minted about, I don't know, maybe a couple dozen pieces. Most of them editions of 10 pieces or something like that, and a handful of one-of-ones that I've minted and had some success selling. Which is always rewarding to get that feedback that somebody likes your art enough to actually pay for it. So I probably minted a couple dozen pieces. Prior to that, I don't have any experience as an artist. Like I said, my background is in engineering, but I've always considered myself to be a creative type. Even early on, when I was a teenager, creating slideshows and videos, and I just always loved working with computers and using technology to create art. And I've just been working at Photoshop and photography, and then ultimately I gravitated towards Illustrator as my primary tool for creating art. And I worked at a design firm for a little over a decade, and I worked with some incredibly talented industrial designers and graphic designers, and along the way I just picked up a lot of knowledge, seeing how they work and interacting with them.
You can see that influence in your work, or I don't know, you probably threw it in on purpose. Like you've got the measurements around some of these coffee cups and stuff, labeled the handle.
Yeah, exactly. That sort of, I call that trait. It's kind of a family of traits. The background that you see on that blue piece is called blueprint, and those lines and the dimensions and the call outs of the coffee and handle and mug. I call that family of traits the blueprint trait, and it does reflect back on my engineering background and creating drawings. And I've created a lot of, as I said, 3D models and technical drawings. So that was kind of an inspiration for that family of traits.
When is the mint for the project?
So this project is going to be dropping on Sunday. This Sunday, that's December 1st on Believer. And what I started floating is out there. I talked with Believer and I talked with MintPad, and both of them are incredibly responsive and great to work with. Ultimately, I decided to go with Believer. I think they have a little bit more of a marketing reach, and that's really my biggest concern or worry with this drop. I don't have a huge reach. I don't have a huge audience, so I think they're going to be a little bit more helpful in getting this project in front of eyeballs. And like I said, my hope is just that people will see it and like the artwork, and want to collect something that resonates with them. I know when I was creating these traits, there are some designs, some aesthetics that I just really like, but I tried to put forth a broad range of colors and textures, and some a little more feminine, some a little more masculine, some a little more techy. Try to put forth a broad range of traits that there'll be something for everyone.
How much is the mint, and what time? Do you have a time, or have you not announced it yet?
I don't have an exact time. It's I'm talking with Believer. It's probably going to be about midday on Sunday. My original thought was always that I wanted these to be less than the cost of a cup of coffee. You know how there's that proverbial saying, for the cost of a cup of coffee, you can support XYZ.
Yeah.
So my thought was always for this to be about the cost of a cup of coffee. I was originally going to do 5 Ape, but with the price of Ape going up a little bit in the past week or so, I may drop it to 420 for the culture.
For the culture.
For the culture,
of course.
So it's probably going to be that. I haven't really nailed down all those details yet, but it's going to be a collection of about. I decided to go with a collection size of 1,056 pieces, and with the
Any meaning to that number?
yeah, actually there is. It's kind of nerdy, but my other hobby and my career over the past 5 years has been in the brewing industry. I used to sell breweries and manufacture equipment for craft breweries. And there's a strain of yeast that's used in the brewing industry. If you've ever had Sierra Nevada Pale Ale or any number of different IPAs, there's a strain of yeast called 1056, and it's one of the most popular strains of yeast out there for brewing beer. And I knew I wanted to do something in the 1,000 to 1,500 range, and ultimately I just decided to go with 1056 because it was a number that I liked. So
I'm excited
so
for
there'll
it.
be 1056 in the collection. I'm going to hold back a couple, and then I think on mint day there's going to be a supply of 1024. So
I shared your Sierra Nevada post. I just saw that after I saw the beer on your profile, but didn't read it. And then
yeah,
after you just told your story, I went back to go check the beer profile because it was Sierra Nevada. And saw the whole thing. So,
yeah, it's a little bit inside baseball, but anybody in the brewing industry knows 1056 it's one of the most popular strains of yeast out there for making beer. So, and like I said, I know I want to do something around 1,000, a little more than 1,000, so that I could hold some back, and that's ultimately the number I landed on. So
this collection, I love it. Very unique, and it's not what I was expecting at all. One of the more different ones you've had on the space for sure.
what were you expecting?
Some kind of like coffee mint pass type thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is like, I don't know. Definitely not like almost architectural or, like you said, precise looking art like surrounding coffee.
Yeah.
And minimalist. I'm a big fan of it. Definitely going to be minting this.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And
if I can catch it.
When I started, creating arts, and I did a lot of pieces that are very, very close to the style of Grant Union, very minimalist, but I always wanted to evolve it into something that was a little bit more my own. And so I started adding more detail, textures and gradients, and using the blurring tool, things that you don't generally find in Grant Union's work and other minimalist artists. So trying to make something that's a little bit, it's unique, it's my own. I'm trying to develop my own style and see where it goes.
Well, I wish you luck with your mint on Sunday.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for JK? All right. Well, go ahead, Hex, if you got a question.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, what platform are you minting on?
This is going to be launching on Believer.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, thanks for coming up and sharing.
Yeah, thanks for having me
and your art style.
And thanks for getting all these artists up on the space and giving us all an opportunity to share our stories. I appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Now, JK was our last featured artist for the night because Wild Mage was unable to make it. Thanksgiving emergency, it sounded like. Does anyone from the audience or speaker have any project that they want to talk about before I wrap things up here? Because you're welcome to talk about your own project if you got one.
I'm down, Grimy. I haven't sold the piece, bro.
Yeah,
like
it's garbage. It should have sold.
Terrible, huh?
So that's garbage. It should have sold.
It's okay. Maybe I'll just wait for like a year and just stop working.
No, make more art.
No, I mean like I made a vow to not make more until this one
You're gonna
sells.
force me to
I
buy
guess
it,
that's
dude.
not like
Come on.
what I'm thinking. I was gonna buy it from myself to be able to liberate myself from the vow. You know what I mean? So I'll just put the money in another wallet and then purchase it from myself, and then that should do it. I think.
That should do
You
it.
know, when I get desperate enough, that's probably what I'll do. But you know, it's cool. I got a vacation.
I'll grab the second one, but then I've got a huge bet on RFTZI in my portfolio, and you have to become a famous artist with Mick Fries, dude. You're literally not going to produce any more art until that one mints out.
Yeah, it's just 1 minute. It's a one of one. So I'm just gonna wait, and then I'll probably make more art if I can't help it anymore. Like you know, like there's this urge that I'll just buy it for myself, bro. That's it. But you know, for now, I'm just gonna leave it hanging until yeah, it makes sense.
Throw the
Or
link
like
up
I'll
top.
surprise. What?
Throw the link up top.
No, I'm not gonna do that anymore, bro.
How are you gonna fucking sell it then?
Somebody needs to do their fucking research, bro.
Oh my god. Oh man, I wish I
I'm
had
not
it.
gonna spoon feed like you know. I'm not gonna spoon feed people. They should just do it themselves, bro.
Man, it's a hard protest. I'll try to find it. Throw
It's
people to
gone, bro.
alpha.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Leaving the space, deleting the post. Yo, anybody else have a project that you want to throw up there?
I want to talk about horses, bro.
Yeah, let's talk horses if you want to. Fuck.
So, what do you think? If what are the chances we can get Tim Waltz to endorse our meme coin?
Very high, 99% probably.
Yeah, 'cause I heard he's into that shit, bro.
Horses?
Yeah, that's what I heard. Anyway, I don't know if it's true, but maybe we should post under his post or something and sort of market to his demographic who might also be into the things that he's into.
This is going way over my horse head. I don't even get the joke.
Uh, cause I think he likes horses. Like it's part of his like mystique.
Gotcha. Um, yeah, I guess
Part of his lore. You know, it's part of his lore. So I don't know. There might be a niche market for that. That's all I'm saying, bro. Cause you know, um, you got to look at all the angles.
you're right. We do have to look at all the angles. The horse picks, just so I could give a quick explainer. Well, ApeChain or ApeCoin changed their cover photo to horse chain over the F1 weekend, probably as a joke. Somebody shortly after launches a token called Horse, which is like run round trip by now. Um, and then during a space, we were all using a 300-year-old AI agent that's been trained on a daily basis on the darkest truths of horses to generate AI horse picks for the homies based on whatever prompts that they gave us. So really just ChatGPT. We made a bunch of ChatGPT horse pictures and then sent them out. So that's the horse pictures that you might see. But yeah, it was just they're a bunch of ones we made for fun in an X space, Twitter space, whatever. Um, all right, I might wrap up early here now since
Yeah, I'm gonna thank you for the horse you sent me, bro.
of course, yeah, of course. Um,
I appreciate it.
I'm gonna wrap up early now because I got family in town and Wild Mage wasn't here, so we had one less artist. Unless anybody else wants to come up and talk about their work, you're welcome to. But otherwise, happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll have another show on Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And oh yeah, last thing, I'll throw up a link if you guys want to be a featured artist to either just talk about your work, like learn how to get started on ApeChain, or to like show off your NFT collection, whatever. We've got a anonymous Google form you could fill out to schedule a time, and then I'll contact you in a DM and set up a time for ApeChain Art Hours. So I'm going to leave that up.
Happy Thanksgiving, Grimy.
Happy Thanksgiving, RFDZ, and everyone else. So yeah, I'm going to leave this up for a couple of minutes so people can see the link. I'm not sure if Chris is having the space or not, but if so, check out Chris Slack's profile. You might have a space at 11 or 11:30 for DGen tokens and whatnot. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and thanks for coming.